Good morning, Dr. Awasthi. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with us today. The topic that we are going to talk about fits very well with Cooperative Dialogue 2, which is looking at fostering innovations in cooperatives. Coop Dialogue 2 is a bi-yearly publication of the International Cooperative Alliance, which looks at a particular issue and tries to get perspectives from across the Asia Pacific region so that it can be focused on an issue and we get perspectives from different parts of the country and countries so that it becomes an avenue to share and exchange ideas. And this issue is looking at innovation in cooperatives. We feel that innovation is important for cooperatives because it meets members' needs. It also responds to evolving market trends to be able to respond. It also looks at crisis and how do you adapt, and the COVID-19 pandemic is a good example of a crisis and then you are having to respond to change. So in that connection, innovation becomes important. So how do you look at innovation and in particularly in cooperatives? What is your perspective on innovation?
Thank you, Balu, for coming to our office for talking about innovation. IFCO has been from the beginning, has always believed that technology is the solution for any problem. And we believe that as a cooperatives, as a farmers organization, it's our bounden duty to be updated on technology. And technology is always part of the innovation.
Sure.
But beside technology, what we always believed, the environmental management, water management, that is resource management, be it be water, be it be air, be it be power, energy. So all these are part of the innovation which we need to do in the plants and in our working.
Sure.
So as IFCO, we have always been working on that, and over the years, we have reduced energy consumption by more than 60%. We have reduced water consumption, made it practically half. The manpower requirement, the requirement of environment like carbon dioxide emission going out of our plant should be reduced. So we brought innovative technology of capturing of carbon dioxide from the flue gases and use it effectively for generation of making of fertilizer. That has been part of our innovation which we have done. So all these are we have been always working on that aspect, and we have been always very proactive wherever it need to be changed. Like we change over from naphtha to gas, then from fuel oil to gas, wherever those kind of innovation were available, or we change over from gas to methane, we change over from gas to coal gases, feedstocks. Accordingly, we modified our plants. We have tried to reduce coal consumption, and coal-based power plant we have changed over to gas-based power plants. So all those plants are a part of our innovation. And when we brought new organizations, like we brought IFCO Kisan Sanchar, the idea was to provide to the farmers latest available technologies for increasing their food production or increasing their crop production, at the same time to reducing their manpower requirement, to educating them on how to make environmental safe, how to use less water for irrigation. So all those has been our part of our innovation which we have always done.
Sure. And how do you all foster this culture? For it also comes, apart from the products and process, there needs to be a culture where there is innovation within to say how do we keep looking at new things. So how is that imbibed in a large organization like IFCO?
You see, I would say that even when we started in 67, I have been part of the IFCO's organization. And I've seen from the beginning, we had this culture. We have never given up that thing. And as far as I'm concerned, I'm very conscious about changes which are happening technologically.
Right.
And I am very quick in adopting them. And our people are also very quick in making those changes which are necessary. We never wait for it for a obsolete technology to continue. Where we believe capital. When people say it requires more capital or it will have more less manpower on this job, we need to retrain the people. And we have been believing in that culture. And our people, our colleagues, I'm fortunate that in IFCO, that culture is there, where IFCO or our subsidiaries, we have that culture where we quickly adopt those new technology which are coming up.
And can you give an example of two or of innovations which you've seen come from, say, your plants or from workers at the level of your factories, where you had ideas come up, which you've then taken it on in a big way?
Yeah, within our factories also we have system of we incentivize people who give suggestions. We have suggestion scheme.
Okay.
Where suggestions are coming and they are those suggestions are good. They are those employees are rewarded. So that system also we have.
Okay.
So we are getting a lot of those kind of suggestions, where people are giving suggestions and we are implementing them.
So let me come to the particular, our interest is in the nano urea. The Honorable Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji was recently quoted as saying, "Nano fertilizer will help the farmers in a big way and reduce the fertilizer crisis across the country." This was also reflected in the Union budget for 2022. And IFCO is prominently mentioned in the news when it comes to nano. So can you share with us as to why a mainstream fertilizer company like IFCO would want to come up with an alternative, say like nano?
You see, I would say this journey, started about 5 years back.
Okay.
And I've been always thinking since last 5 years that world is going through a very different phase in the sense of having global warming, environmental concern, and these are genuine concerns.
Sure.
I have observed that climate change is affecting farmer, unseasonal rain or not having rain, or too much of snowfall suddenly, or suddenly you have sudden rainfalls, cloud burst. These are things which I have been observing has been happening. And as a chemical engineer, as a person who has worked for all his life in fertilizer industry, I have been thinking the time has come for making some change. And I observed that nanotechnology is being used in space technology, is being used in medicines. That's why new innovations are coming. So agriculture is one field where we need to concentrate now on having nano fertilizers. And to that extent, I would say in year 2017-18, we started a laboratory in our mother unit at Kalol in Gujarat. And from there we started this work of how to make nano urea. First I wanted to attack nano urea.
Right.
Question is why? My answer to this would be always, the nano urea is the biggest pollutant, I would say, environmentally. Because NOx, when you use the urea, it's only 30 to 40% of urea is used. 70 to 60% urea either goes into the water and forms NOx into the water. The groundwater gets polluted, or it goes into the air in the forms of NOx or carbon dioxide or ammonia, which are harmful gases. And NOx is very dangerous for our environment. You see, one kg of, or one particle of NOx is equal to 298 particles of carbon dioxide. That's the kind of pollution which it creates. So I thought that if we can have nano urea, where the efficiency level can be as high as 85%, 86%, and also the quantum is very less because it's only 20 grams of nitrogen which is there. Vis-a-vis when you carry in a 50 kg bag, in a 50 kg bag with 46%, it's around 23 kgs of nitrogen in the form of nitrogen which is there. And if you have 60 to 70% of that nitrogen going into form of NOx or into form of ammonia and form of other harmful gases, then it causes much bigger pollution. So we have got a research done for this. We had a lot of setbacks into that initially, but then finally we succeeded. And we launched in 3rd November 2019 our trial across all over the country in 11,000 locations. The results came very, very encouraging. And even we observed that the food quality became better. Okay. The micronutrient in the food quality were better. The protein was more. The fiber was more. Even the fruit quality, when we tried this nano urea and apples of Kashmir, we found that their quality is much better than when they were trying the traditional fertilizers. So and then we went, after the trial, we went to Department of Biotechnology, where we have all biotoxicity and biosafety was tested, and it was found that it is safe for everybody. It's safe for all flora, fauna, for human, for other species, safe for all species, and most important part is it's only 500 cc bottle, which replaces 1 bag of urea, which replaces 50 kg bag of urea. It also reduces the transportation cost, it reduces the carrying cost of the farmer, and it makes better, it can also give them better crop, and also it has to, you have to spend less money. Okay, it's cheaper than a bag of urea. So these are the kind of things which finally happen on nano urea. And nano urea has now commercially available. We have produced more than 20 million bottles already produced. We have sold off more than 15 million bottles already sold out to the farmers. And we have also exported to Sri Lanka. We have now orders of Nepal we are talking, Bhutan we are talking to other countries also. And I would say this is going to revolutionize the agriculture in the world. Because nano urea, once it is used here, it can be used anywhere.
Right.
And any climate it can be used. We are also using it through drone, and which is much more effective than using the regular normal sprayers by which you are spraying this material. So frankly speaking, we have to increase the surface area by 10,000 times. And we have taken out the nitrogen from the urea solution and got it absorbed into a hydrocarbon solution, and which gets released on the leaf. So you have to spray it and increase surface area. So results have been very, very encouraging, and it is getting a good response. So on in our last general body meeting, our 30th of May, we have dedicated this product, nano urea, to the farmers of the world. We have not kept it only for farmers of India. So that is our journey, and I'm sure this is going to be making a lot of change into our agriculture practices.
Sure.
And also it will have a lot of positive impact on environment and global warming.
Sure. Yes, you did talk about the lot of work which has gone in with 11,000 farmer trials with more than 94 crops to test the efficacy of nano urea.
Yes.
So it's entailed heavy investment, research and development. But at the end, it's the farmers who need to adopt it. So how did you all go about convincing the farmer? Because farmers tend to be risk averse. If you have been using a certain way of doing things and you bring in something new, it has challenges within it. So what kind of challenges did you all encounter from the farmer, and did it take a lot of convincing to get them to adopt nano urea?
Surely, Mr. Balu, you are right. If you are doing something traditionally, and if something new comes, certainly you will have quite a reservation. But then we are showing them. Because when we did 11,000 trials, our idea was they should be done on farmers' field.
Okay.
Beside agriculture universities, beside KBKs, which are government owned, but the actual farmers should also see. So we are also showing through demonstration. Our people are showing actual demonstration wise how it is helping them. Then there are many are progressive farmers. So when we have explained to them, and we have told them how they can save their cost and how they can save their effort and their labor, and how it can avoid their accidents. Because when they are going to the field, sometimes they have a snake bite, sometimes they have other kind of accidents happen. And if they use drone or they use booster for spraying, booster sprayer, it becomes very simple for them to use this. And it can also make even the educated people use this. And now Government of India has brought a new scheme of Kisan Drone, where educated youth can be trained, and government is providing subsidy for buying these drones for spraying of agriculture inputs, including nano fertilizers, including other agrochemicals which can be mixed with this and used. So that will also reduce the price. So it's a question of teaching, it's a question of continuous dialogue,
Right.
which has to happen. Because after use of fertilizer also, when it is started like this only. Over the year people learn it. So over the time people learn it. Now communication system is faster. So we expect there will be faster communication which will happen with the farmers.
But what is the kind of cost difference between the traditional urea being used versus nano, and in terms of also productivity, are there some numbers which reflect
Surely,
that?
surely. It is anyway, it is 10% lower cost
Okay.
than a cost of bag. So this equivalent urea, one bottle is 10% lower price. Number one is this.
Sure.
Number two, you can have at least 7% higher yield than that. Secondly, the food the product which you are producing has got better qualities. So it can fetch better price. Thirdly, the quality of food which is coming out is a better quality. And fourthly, ultimately, when they start realizing that this will help them in also long run, in when the global warming effects will not be there on them, then also it will help a lot. But if you look at international price wise, my product is only $3 per bag. While today, if 50 kg bag will cost you 4,000 rupees. It is Government of India which is giving subsidy today, na?
Right.
But I am selling it for $3. I am exporting at $5. So imagine if somebody who is using urea, if he is going to use this, he has to pay only $5, which is $40, which is paying. So you can imagine the cost difference.
Sure.
It's practically paying only 10%, 11%. Then what if he buys the urea, what he pays?
Right. So I see that from what you've said, urea is a product at the center. But what you all are trying to also do is build an ecosystem for any company, say an Apple. The iPhone or the iPad is just the product, but it's the ecosystem which they build. And so you mentioned about using drones. So you're getting new technology. You're also training youth. So you're giving employment and trying to get them also involved in agriculture in a new way.
Yeah.
So what are the other ways in which you're trying to build the ecosystem so that through that the product can get much more be utilized?
No, I believe that not only nano urea, but nano DAP is on the line very, very fast. I think next 2-3 months we will get nano DAP also on the line. The second thing is nano zinc and nano copper, nano sulfur and nano boron is also we are bringing. So we are bringing a whole lot of ecosystem into nano fertilizers. And once all that come together, then all this becomes much more, I would say, cost of nutrient application for the farmers will be actually reduced by half in India, even after subsidy. But without subsidy, the cost would be something like 1/10 than what farmers is traditionally spending in other country. So you can imagine 90% if he can save in nutrient cost, how much he will be able to save and how much it will be reducing the inflation worldwide.
Sure.
It will reduce the cost of even the product. The worldwide wheat which you may be buying at 450 rupees a bushel might come down to 250 rupees or 300 rupees a bushel. So how much it will reduce in reducing the inflation worldwide? Economic activity can go up. The UN program of avoiding hunger can really take shape, because then you don't have to spend that much money to reduce hunger.
Sure.
So it's a different set of thing which will bring. It will not only nutrient. It's a whole. It will revolutionize the whole system of management of food and management of soil, and management of environment.
Yeah, all very important given the impact of climate change. But one thing which you had earlier mentioned is the quality of the food. It's much more nutritious, it's much more. So is that aspect which you all are trying to promote on the product which comes out, how do you get it to the consumer? And these days the consumer is also looking for safe, nutritious products. So how are you all looking at marketing specifically nano urea developed or produced crops or products to the consumer?
I'm sure on that basis we have not yet started working, but that's what you said is very good idea. The people who are selling those products, the people who are selling those, let's suppose they are buying the fruits. So if they are buying those fruits and if they start telling people that once they use the apple of that apple, then the apple which has not used urea, the difference will be known.
Correct.
So we have to start educating the consumer. But as long as we maintain we don't, I would say to my mind, if we don't add price value, then it's more possible that we'll be able to convey the message early. But if we add price value, then it might take a little longer to convey the message.
But I think when you look at consumer these days, organic, people talk about organic and they are willing to give a certain premium because it's organic. But I think very similar, this when we can talk about more the, one is the farmer definitely is benefiting and it helps in this doubling farmers' income. So the farmers' cost of production reduces. But at the same time, I think the consumer also needs to be more aware that these are new nano-produced products, which not only is nutritious, but contributes also to reducing impact of climate. I think there's a story to be told, which would definitely help.
You are surely right. I mean, the story to be told, and also they have to be told that it has got less chemicals.
Correct.
So once they understand, the consumer understand that this product has less chemical and has more value, health value, I'm sure consumer can understand it.
And so you're seeing the adoption rate increasing, and what is your thing that you foresee, say in the next 3 to 5 years, the kind of adoption of nano urea?
You see, as I said, right now we are talking of 50% reduction of urea. So I see that by 2025, at least 50% urea we should be able to replace by nano urea in India.
Okay.
And then it depends upon worldwide how people are responding, how they respond. Once we have been talking to Brazil, we have talked to Argentina, we have talked to Philippines, and those countries and those cooperatives have shown interest. So once their interest gets developed, I'm sure it will get you see, please, Balu, Mr. Balu, I will like to tell you, after all, the ammonia was invented about 117 years back. Urea came into the picture around 100 years back. Not very old product. So nano will also take 3, 4, 5 years to come. Now today technology is more faster.
Correct.
So you can communicate more faster. So I think we are on that track. It's ambitious, but given the bandwidth which we have and given the desire which we have to push it hard, I think it's possible.
Dr. Awasthi, I found that part interesting what you just said last. For it's the nano, we are also trying to get it, the adoption rate to be increased in India. But at the same time, you're also looking internationally with cooperatives. And it's a great example of the Principle 6, which says cooperation among cooperatives.
Yes.
But what was the motivation? Why did you want to also get to do it internationally when you're doing something, starting to do something nationally?
That's why so internationally also, that's why I'm giving at a very low price. I told you, I'm giving at 1/10 of the price which they are actually buying.
Right.
So I want them to understand and to see that if environmentally it can help them also. After all, today's word is one, it has got, we say if there's a problem of environment in one country, it's going to affect other countries.
Sure.
It's a global warming, it's a global system. So global warming, if we have to control, we need to go towards environmentally friendly nutrients, and which are nano fertilizers. So I'm sure if those cooperatives want to come and take advantage of this product, we are open to give them and give them a cheap price. I don't want to charge them a higher price.
But you're only looking at cooperatives, or are you also looking at private and other?
Anybody,
Anybody.
farmers. That's why, even in India, I'm not restricted to a cooperative alone.
Okay.
I've opened it to everybody.
Okay.
And our board has agreed to open to everybody.
Okay. And how are you seeing the response from other countries?
Other country, I said Sri Lanka has already taken.
Okay.
Nepal and Bhutan is showing interest. And we are talking to other countries also.
So the interest is increasing.
Yes, and I'm sure, ICA, when with this interview, I think ICA member will get interested to know that these are products which can save their farmers' cost of nutrient application, can reduce the cost of final produce, which they are producing, which wheat, rice, or any other product which they are producing, for which they need, if they need nutrient, and it can help them.
Sure. I think definitely, I think this interview and talking about this would be of, we are hoping that there will be more interest generated. So is the plan also to set up plants outside, or is it just the products which are being
Well, I have planned. If somebody wants to set up product, we have planned. We can come as joint venture partner, or we can give them technology, and we can provide them people who can make the transfer technology to them.
Right.
And that was both.
So all options are
are open.
Okay. Okay. So in the process, I think you mentioned that it's not just nano, but you're looking at other areas also for innovating. But what would be your message to cooperatives? Because in terms of innovation, what should be cooperatives be looking at, and what would be your message to cooperatives both in India and outside?
And no, I think cooperative being people organization. We have to see what is best for the people. Economy becomes secondary in cooperative. What is important is that our members which are there, how to empower them, how to take care of their environmental concern, how to take care of their interest. So in this direction, I would say if there is a close cooperation between cooperatives of different countries, and if they share their innovative products with each other to help in managing environment, for global warming reduction, for reducing the cost of nutrient application or cost of production of cereals or or fruits, and if we can help each other, that will be a best thing to happen.
Okay. Uh, Thank you very much. I think it's been very informative to hear about how we all have developed. One is that you've looked at alternatives. It's not just saying, okay, we are doing something and we'll continue with that. Looked at alternatives with concern for the environment, concern for the people and how we can improve. And the process that you've taken, again, it's not just a product, but saying how do we develop systems around it, I think has all the elements of innovation which we talk about. It's not just the product, it's the process, it's the culture, it's the way it's shared. So I think this will definitely, I think, be a boost not only to farmers, but it's also an opportunity for others, our members across other countries, to see how they can share with you all, connect with you all, use your expertise, and see how they can benefit their farmers. So I think it's a great initiative, and we are thank you to IFCO for putting this Nano in the picture. And it's also got cooperatives right from the highest level. The Honorable Prime Minister has spoken about this, so it brings us visibility in terms of the product and what it can do. So thank you for taking the time to talk with us and explain.
Thank you, Mr. Balu, and I'm sure India has been always in forefront of cooperative movement and also innovation wherever possible we have done. And I'm also grateful to Government of India and our Prime Minister, who has started recognizing the importance of alternatives beside chemical fertilizer, nano fertilizers or organic fertilizers, working on those directions. And I'm sure the encouragement which we are getting from our farmers is very, very encouraging, and also from our fellow cooperators worldwide. They have been talking quite nicely, quite well about it. And as a representative of International Cooperative Alliance, especially Asia Pacific chapter, I think you can carry the message loudly and clearly that this is one product which is available to people, available to our cooperatives, available to farmers, and which can be used by them for the benefit of themselves and also for reducing the global warming. Thank you very much for coming.